Instructions at all times, just defend yourself at all times. Shake hands. Good luck.
12 3-minute rounds for the IBF Intercontinental Super Featherweight Championship.
Now this could be a pretty good fight. Nice clash of styles here. Judson likes to come forward, and he's never been stopped in 35 contests, despite being in with the likes of Colin McMillan, Daniel Alicia, who did quite well with Prince Nassim Hamed for a little while, and Cassius Beloyi, who is a WBU champion. It's a big test, this, for Barry Jones, and his first chance really to make a name for himself as a professional.
Judson is a real tough, strong fighter who just doesn't know the meaning of the word retreat. He comes forward all the time. Very strong, and you're expecting to be stronger than Jones here. Jones really has to get into his boxing style as quick as possible.
Remembering too that Jones is moving up from the featherweight division. That could be an important factor here, because Judson's tough enough for other super featherweights. Already some red marking by the look of it around the eyes of Barry Jones. A bit worrying so early on in the contest. The left eye, not a cut, but something that could develop into one maybe.
Yes, I think one of the problems for Jones is, as a featherweight, he was not a big puncher. So in the super featherweight division against a very, very tough, rock-solid Peter Judson, you wouldn't expect that he could hurt Judson.
Judson does have 13 defeats on his record, but he says a lot of them were robberies. And some of the time he might have been right as well. He thinks he's been ripped off on other people's promotions, coming in at short notice, that sort of thing. The kind of thing really that happened to Dennis Andries early on in his career, and he turned it all around in the most spectacular fashion, of course.
Yes, you feel that the confidence he will have gained from winning this title would have been very beneficial to him, and really make him start thinking like a champion.
It's already clear that Jones will have his work cut out to stay away from Judson and make his skills count for a whole 12 rounds here. That's quite nice flashy work from Barry Jones. Jones is an electrician who has to work during the day and then do his training at night at Ronnie Rush's gym down in the Tup-Ely district of Cardiff. That's good work from Jones.
That is good work. He's having to work really hard in the opening round just to keep on the move, to keep out of the way and try to flick these punches in.
Well, there's a relentlessness about Judson. He's a fearless sort of operator. People around his gym, the Billy Graham gym, say there's something a little bit crazy about him at times. He sometimes loses his temper when he's sparring and starts to let rip.
Well, he's just walking forward in a typical Judson fashion, but landing with some decent punches as well.
Could be good. Welcome back to the Hillsborough Centre in Sheffield, just opposite Wednesday's ground, where they're in action tomorrow against Newcastle. Live here, boxing tonight. The IBF Inter-Continental title on the line at super featherweight here.
And a clubbing right hand there from Judson. Very strong walk-forward fighter.
Peter Judson, the champion of this Intercontinental belt in the gold trunks, the blue of the Welshman Barry Jones. Judson won this title against another Welshman in Dean Phillips. And it was a terrific contest. Phillips was extremely talented, landed any number of blows and really went for it, and then just ran out of gas. He just kind of punched himself out, and he just could not move Judson, who sucked it all up, poker-faced, and went on to score the most important win of his career.
Judson keeping his hands up nice and tight there, but every now and again a nice little fast punch landing from Barry Jones. He's curiously just shaking his left leg a little. I'm not sure if he's got a little bit of cramp in there.
Fast hands from Jones. who did some good things in the amateur ranks, as did his brother. Boxing runs in the family. Barry's been fighting since he was 10 years old. This is the tactics that Jones needs to use. Judson taking a lot of them on the gloves, to be fair to him, but not all of them.
No, there was one good right through, got through. He threw a lot of punches there, Jones, but there was one decent right hand slipped in.
Some Welsh fans have travelled up here to Sheffield to support Jones. It's a very pleasant man. There he is again with that little idiosyncratic gesture that Glenn was mentioning. I don't know, that's something whether I've not noticed him do that before, but has he got a problem with that left leg? He keeps kicking it out.
Well, already this looks, it's going to be a hard fight for Jones. This relentless pressure from Judson.
He's walking forward a lot, but for my money in this round, maybe Jones has landed more punches.
There's a better quality of punch from Jones, but it's how many are actually getting through. He's catching a good deal, Judson.
High-held guard, and even the ones that do get through are unlikely to trouble him. By his own admission, Jones is not a heavy hitter, not by any stretch of the imagination. And Judson has got one of the best chins really at any weight you'll find. Welcome back to the sporting city of Sheffield.
So you see if there's any more of the little idiosyncrasy with that left leg of Barry Jones. He seems to be having some problem. Again, he's shaking it. I'm not sure what's wrong there, if he's suffering from cramp, but he's doing that several times with the left leg.
Hasn't affected his boxing so far, and there it is again. He needs to be plenty mobile enough to affect the tactics and strategy which would see him to victory. He has to stay elusive. He has to keep away from Judson. Now, John Cole, the referee, just watch the use of those high elbows, he says to Judson. He's had some good wins, Jones. He beat Justin Murphy. Victory over Neil Swain as well, when Swain was a flyweight. Beaten Kelton McKenzie. Mike Devane, who held the British featherweight title for a while. So he has done things in the pro ranks without really uprooting many trees.
Yes, I think his boxing ability is without question. You know, he's young and he's got very good ability, beating names like that. But he's going to have to work very, very hard tonight, moving up in weight against a very strong super featherweight.
I spoke to him a week or two back in Cardiff about this fight, and he knew exactly what he would have to do, and he's trained for exactly those tactics. Of course, talking about it's one thing, doing it up there is another.
And Judson in this round just concentrating more on the body of Jones, just trying to bring the hands down and maybe sap the strength a little bit with long right hands to the body. But Jones is boxing well in the round, keeping good movement and just trying to counter well and come out with these they're not hard shots, but they're good little combos.
It's exactly the chemistry we expected between the two styles, and it may make for a fascinating 12 rounds here. Judson is not a heavy puncher himself, despite the fact that he stopped Dean Phillips. He's only had 3 knockout wins in 35 fights. But he is strong and relentless, as you're seeing. Judson in yellow, remember.
Jones coming off the ropes quite good there with a nice little left hook.
A lot of these punches, the majority of them from Jones, has to be said, hitting the arms and gloves of Judson.
For me in this round, Jones has just managed to keep the bouncing going and just landed with more punches.
South Africa against Australia, Sunday at 9 in the morning, Sky Sports 2. Live boxing here now. It's the fight for the IBF Intercontinental Super Featherweight title. Judson against Jones, 4th round with Glenn.
And the previous 3 have been pretty hard to score. I don't think there've been too much in any of those previous 3 rounds. And it could be that the judges from London, Milan and the USA may not have agreed. The blue trunks of Barry Jones, the challenger, the gold of Peter Judson from Keighley in Yorkshire. Judson just getting a little bit closer. Now then, we've done a bit of research in the corner between the rounds, and apparently the shaking of the leg that Barry Jones is doing is just a little habit of his. It's not an injury. That's good news, because you wouldn't want him really in a fight that could be as good as this to have anything that might handicap him.
Yes, there did seem to be something of a problem there because he was doing it so much. Some nice combinations coming in from Jones there. A lot of them, of these punches are landing on the gloves, but he's getting through with quite a few.
But he's making no kind of dent at all in Judson, who will just keep on walking forward. He'd walk through a brick wall. He's the kind of fighter, really, that if you told him he was going in with a Roberto Duran or Sugar Ray Leonard, he'd probably just shrug his shoulders and say, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he loves the game. He's a real great character. But he's very, very tough.
Really is a hard man, and Billy Graham, his trainer at the Phoenix camp, says that if ever a man was born to be a boxer, it's this fellow. Judson himself has to prove that the win over Phillips was just not a freak, and that he can carry on as a championship level fighter and start to make some serious money. Good left hand that time on the counter from Jones, but he's finding it hard to find gaps in his defense. 1 or 2 getting through there.
Yes, that was a good combination from Jones there. Every now and again he can just switch the angles well and just land when Judson's hands are down.
Good right hand. Judson does get through that time. Seemed to lose his balance for a moment there as well, Jones. It's coming dangerously close together there. John Coyle won't stand for too much more of that sort of thing. Now later on tonight, Ryan Rhodes, very busy boy, topping the bill again, the 20-year-old who's starting to make some waves now, getting that Lonsdale belt in a record 90 days, the British light middleweight champion, tonight fighting for the IBF Intercontinental belt against Lyndon Scarlett, who is a big underdog, but is a very brave and ferocious little character who will try his heart out. But Rhodes certainly being groomed for stardom. If he loses, his British title will be declared vacant as well. That's a bit on the line for him.
Second zone.
That comes up later. Live in the ring at the moment, the IBF Intercontinental Championship at the 9 stone 4 pounds division, super featherweight, being disputed here by champion Peter Judson in gold, the blue of Barry Jones, the 22-year-old Welshman.
And Jones is showing good skills on the back foot. He's having to work very, very hard, but he's finding the little gaps in Judson's defence, and he's getting through with some nice counters.
Gets through there with the left jab, Jones. So far, Jones's plans working pretty well for him. Sharp, fast punching, getting in, then getting away again. And starting to just land with a bit more frequency. There's that little gesture again, the kicking out of the left leg.
But I'm sure Jones's camp are very aware of how tough Judson is, and that they probably have to do this the long way and have trained accordingly and worked long and hard on this boxing technique.
Certainly, I know down in Wales, all the family will be in front of a television rooting for Barry Jones. One of his biggest fans is his grandfather, who often watches him at work in the gym. And a family friend, 8-year-old Andrew's always around as well.
And he's just slipping into a bit of a rhythm, Jones, just throwing nice punches, keeping nice and busy.
But Judson still looks immensely strong and full of self-belief.
This is how he fights. He's very tough. He's willing to give away a couple of rounds. He's going to keep working hard all the time.
Barry Jones just has to keep him away. And will it start to tell the longer it goes, being in action against this big, strong super featherweight when you've been used to operating in the 9-stone division?
And what's it going to do to him mentally when you have an opponent like Judson who's just going to keep coming and keep coming, and you're never going to really put a dent on him? But so far, he's boxing well, Barry Jones. He's got to keep his concentration and his work rate up.
There must be times in there where Jones feels as if he's using a pea shooter to try to make holes in a rock face. Interesting fight going on in the ring here. Peter Judson, Barry Jones for the IBF Inter-Continental super featherweight crown. Now, how do you think the judges might be scoring this so far? Because it's interesting, the neat boxing skills of Jones and the pressure of Judson, but is Jones doing more and winning the rounds? What do you think?
Well, for me, Jones is doing the better boxing. It is hard to score because he's constant pressure, but a lot of this pressure is just with the feet. He's getting into distance, but Jones is the one, just for me, doing more work and just starting to pull a little bit ahead.
And a big lead there for Barry Jones. Couple of rounds anyway on Glenn's scorecard. Got it a little wider than that myself, but it could be that the judges are giving more reward for this walk forward pressure of Judson. There is a feeling too within the trade, Glenn, that the longer this goes, the more it will suit Judson.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ian, that Judson's camps probably realised they're fighting a lighter man who's obviously got the edge in speed, and they might have to wait a little bit and just wear their man down till he starts to tire, and then they can start getting through. So the Judson camp may be looking for the second part of the fight to start getting on top.
Watch for Judson too, going to the body to try to slow Jones down. It's a little bit of a swelling by the left eye of Jones, who continues to be fast and elusive. So far he's done absolutely nothing wrong, but the question is, can he keep this going? Bit of a nick underneath the right eye too for Barry Jones. Hasn't really been subjected to a long demanding, grueling affair like this yet, so it's a massive test of whether Jones has really got what it takes to make some impact in the pro ranks. Big chance for him, he knows that.
Judson's also such a very fit man. He's very strong, but he's also very fit. Works so hard, really in love with the game, and that's such a positive factor for him.
Oh, it's a good right hand, that one by Judson. Jones doesn't want to be taking those, is he? Just slowing a little. Watch for signs of that. If this Peter Judson had a real big punch as well to go with his solid chin, his tight defence, he would be some fighter, wouldn't he?
Certainly, I think a big punch would really help. Unfortunately, he hasn't got that, but he makes up for it in fitness and strength.
I think Judson won that round. Well, let's hear what Barry McGuigan's making of things so far.
I have given Jones all the rounds bar the first, which has scored even up until the 6th round, but Judson has timed this perfectly. He's beginning to put the pressure on and tighten the screws on Jones, and he's starting to land just before the end there, last half a minute. He landed with a crunching right hand, and he's just applying steady pressure now and beginning to wear Jones down. And it's just the way I've seen it. He'll apply the pressure steadily over the next couple of rounds, and I think he'll grind them down and stop Jones.
Meanwhile, our spy in the Barry Jones corner tells us that in that last round, Jones was told just to use his jab, and they may have been taking a breather in that round. They may have felt they just needed to pace things a little. 62-year-old Ronnie Rush in the corner with Barry Jones. He was with Steve Robinson throughout his world title campaign. Sadly, they've parted company recently.
Jones's reflex is still good. Got through with a good right hand of his own, but he's got to keep the movement going. That could be hard in a fight like this.
And there's still a long way to go. We're only just past the halfway point. Glenn's scorecard has Jones just 1 point ahead. I've got him 3 ahead at this stage. I see it a bit more like Barry McGuigan. Certainly Judson won that last round. But these rounds have been tough to score.
Judson just starting to get a little closer now. You just wonder if the strength is starting to tell. He's starting to get through more and more, and these body punches are going to be hurting.
And Jones just beginning to breathe heavily and not looking quite as light on his feet. These are ominous signs for the Welshman. He does not want to be there standing in front of Judson. Is a hard man, hard nut, this Peter Judson.
Yes, defensively he just relies on that high held guard. He doesn't really move his head a great deal, just opting to catch the punches on the glove, and even he'll take them if he has to.
Mentioning the fact that Judson has lost 13 times, but in his mind he's never lost. If you speak to him after a fight, he always feels he was robbed if he is beaten. He's a man who has told us all the time, even when he was losing fights, that one day he would come through, that he was a better fighter than his record suggested, and he may be able to prove a few people wrong in the next year or so. He's still walking forward. He's still got some work to do on the scorecards, maybe.
Yes, but you think he'll have planned for that. His battle plan will be to put the pace on. The camp know that they may have to take punches early on, but they know he's strong enough to do that, and they'll be looking to wear their man down in the late stages.
It's a good left hand, that one, from Jones. Good left hook. Just take a look at the body shots in that last round. Judson, 22 landed, and Jones only 1.
And I think that tells the tale of what Judson's trying to do. He knows that the man's going to use his legs, going to box, and he's going to try and wear him down by strength-sapping body punches. And he was putting quite a few in that round. He was a bit leveler because Jones started to get back onto his boxing and started to land with a few nice counters himself. So it was a pretty even round for me.
I just gave it to Judson myself. Now, is he tiring? That's the question, isn't it?
Starting to be a little bruised and marked up around the eyes.
Round 8.
And if he's to win this, almost certainly, he has to keep on piling up the points for another 15 minutes of boxing. Long time. Will Jones run out of gas in the same way that Dean Phillips did in his fight with Judson? Or has he prepared properly for the 12 rounds? Is he pacing it, giving himself little breathers here and there? That could be another scenario. Keep watching.
Well, I'm sure Jones has prepared well, because just to throw the amount of punches and the amount of work rate he's done already, he's got to be in good condition. But it's something else when it's a pressure fighter like Peter Judson, who never stops, who always keeps coming at you.
What you have to assess is, as you said before, he keeps walking forward, but how much is he getting through with when he does walk forward? In this round, Jones has come back well.
Yes, I think at times that's one of the problems with Judson. He's not getting hurt by these punches, so he stops throwing them himself and just continues to chase fighters where he needs to keep busy with his hands. I think sometimes that's why he feels that he's won the fight when actually he's lost, because he hasn't done enough work with his hands.
He's a good hit and run tactics in this round from Jones. He's winning this round big at the moment, I think. That cut underneath the right eye just gets a little more troublesome. It's not going to be anything to stop the fight, though, unless it really opens up into a terrible gash. The blood will not run into the eye. He has to keep those legs young and fresh, Barry Jones.
Done better in this round. Maybe he's just starting to get a second wind and feel a little more refreshed. He's back to the movement, throwing out fast punches.
Good uppercut as well. Judson just coming on a bit stronger in the last minute of the round. Well, I still thought Jones won the round on the strength of his better work for the first 2 minutes. Meanwhile, backstage, Ryan Rhodes prepares for action for the 3rd time in 46 days. And this is what he thinks about his fight tonight against Lyndon Scarlett.
I've trained hard. I've trained really hard for this fight. Made the weight okay. Everything went fine. The weigh-in last night, I seen him, tall guy. Came in a bit light, so he's been training as well. Should be a good fight, but it's not going long.
He's a big puncher, Ryan Rhodes. He's won the last 3 by stoppage to pick up that Lonsdale belt. That's our top of the bill tonight. It's coming up. Ryan Rhodes against the very brave and ferocious Lyndon Scarlett. This is the belt that is at stake in the ring at the moment, the IBF Inter-Continental Super Featherweight title. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it means plenty to Peter Judson because it's the first belt he's ever won. He aims to keep it, but Barry Jones has other ideas, as he's been proving all along here. Jones in the blue trunks. Good fight, Glenn, isn't it?
It's a good and exciting fight. Good clash of styles here. The walk forward slugger against the boxer. And for me, Jones just doing enough in the last round to get that one. But he's still full of power, still full of strength, Peter Judson.
Slightly more marked up, tired look about Jones for a moment, just looking a bit more apprehensive, and now Judson's shouting at him across the ring. We hear stories from the gym of him losing his rag a bit like this. Few verbals. Now he forgets it. Let's get back to work again.
Well, he landed with a couple of jabs there, Judson, but he got caught with the left hook on his way in.
This is more of what Judson wants in this round. He's managing to close the range more effectively.
He's got to close the distance down, Judson. He's got to keep on top of Jones, and he's got to keep throwing punches.
Welsh fans singing, trying to inspire Barry Jones to get through this. It's beautifully poised.
He's having to work so hard, Barry Jones, just to keep out of range, keep on the move, lots of footwork, and a nice quick right hand there from Jones.
That was terrific work from him. There's a lot of latent skill there, but then he gets caught with a left hook from Judson, who did equally well. Judson's getting through with a bit more in this round. Every time you think Jones is starting to tire and give out one or two distress signals, he suddenly picks it up again, doesn't he?
He does. He uses a nice little burst of movement there, and then a fast combination. It just shows that he's still all right and he's not as tired as at times he looks.
This is where every mile pounded out on the roads, all the work in the gym. This is payback time for Barry Jones. He needs all of that conditioning now. Now Judson lost his rag a bit early on in that last round.
He did. I think he was just a little bit unhappy with the head work there. Gives him a little taste himself, and then has a shout about him. The referee had to have a word with him just to control things a bit, but he's just a little bit unhappy with use of the head, I think. There's a nice fast little right hand from Barry Jones, just moving around well. Watch, his hands are down there, just finds a little gap as Judson's walking in. He brought his hand right up there as he tried to get out of the way, and that was a good, nice, quick little shot.
But I think Judson just got the better of that last round, so did you. Yeah, I just seen your scorecard here. You've still got 1 point in it, Glenn, huh?
Yes, I still got 1 point for Jones. But Judson's looking strong, just coming back into it a bit in that round.
Now this is the time of the fight where Judson would really be expecting to take over. This is the period where he probably felt he would wear Jones down. But will he? Been a terrific performance by Barry Jones, this, isn't it?
It really has. He's never willed it. Every time he's looked a little tired, he's just picked it back up and got boxing again. Some nice counters, but he's had to work so hard, just moving up in weight. So it's been a real good fight for Barry Jones. He's worked well.
How are those three judges scoring it? One of them is an American who may well be giving plenty of points to Judson for his walk-forward aggression. They like that, the American judges.
That's right. They do seem to be just moved a little bit more for the aggression, and that could be depending the fight a little bit at this point. For me, Jones just a slight lead with the nicer, cleaner boxing, but it's very, very close, you would feel.
We've also got Dave Paris, British judge, and a gentleman from Italy doing the scoring here. Good stuff again from Jones. The body punch got through all right.
Well, Jones has got the Welsh fans cheering again with some nice boxing. And that's eye-catching stuff, but Judson, he does manage to block a few of them in that combination.
Those were scoring punches from Barry Jones. Most of them got through. And he knew going into this fight that he was not going to knock out Judson. He just doesn't knock people out. His only stoppage win was on cuts against Greg Upton. And that was back in 1993.
But I think he's surprised me how well he's kept his boxing together under pressure and kept his concentration against a non-stop attack from Judson.
But a non-stop attack by a man who hasn't got a big punch.
Yes, that's one of the things, but he's very strong and I think his punches are hurtful without being spectacular, Judson's. Good work again from Jones, keeping these combinations coming in.
That's another good round for Jones, and Judson seems a bit rattled as he goes back to the corner. Maybe his plan is not quite working. As I said at the start of that round, I think he feels this is his time in the fight, but that wasn't his time.
Yes, I think he's probably getting a little bit frustrated now at the fact that I think he would have thought that Jones would be starting to tire now, and Jones is still throwing lots of punches. You see, look at the combinations. He's got his hands up and he's blocking a lot of them, Judson, but I think they're starting to frustrate him a little bit that Jones is still throwing punches back at this stage in the fight.
And that was a good round, I thought, for Barry Jones. Did some of his best work. Thrown over 700 punches in this contest has Barry Jones. He's landed only a few more, though, than Judson. His economy rate not so good. It might be tight on the scorecards. For what it's worth, I've got Jones 3 points ahead. What about you, Glenn?
I've got Jones in a 2-point lead. But as you said, it's how the judges say this with the aggression, because it has been constant aggression, and that's how I've got it. Just the 2 points there.
He's definitely trying to pick up the tempo in this round, Judson. He may sense that he needs a big finish.
Okay, sort yourselves out. Okay, all right.
Typically good and unfussy performance again from referee John Coyle, who's had over 50 world title fights in his time. Judson is out of range with his jab.
He's trying so hard to close the distance down, but Jones is working well, and the feet, the legs are still doing well. He's obviously done such a lot of road work.
He must have almost run a marathon in there tonight. They've got the London one tomorrow, of course. He's been on the run a bit in this round and not done so much work himself, Barry Jones. I just wonder whether he feels he's just got to stay on his feet and keep out of harm's way. That may be a mistake, because the judges may not agree with our estimation of the way things have been going.
Yes, Yes, he's looking a little bit more sparingly for his punches, just looking to try and make Judson miss before coming back with a clean counter.
Been a good determined effort by Judson in this round. He's starting to get through with those right hands. 3 of them thudded home in a row there. Some good body punches as well. Big effort from Judson in this round. He's winning this session all right.
And the movement just stopping now. Courageous fight back from the ropes there from Jones.
Barry Jones showing in that interchange that he still has plenty left in there. He really did fill up the petrol tank before he came out there tonight.
He really did. He showed terrific character, with good movement and coming back with good combinations in this fight, Jones.
Watching somewhere at ringside is, well, he's in the corner, in fact, helping out his dad, Dennis. He'll be living every second, helps out with the training. Judson's round, what do you think?
It was a very close one. I think maybe Jones just nicked it, but it was very, very close. A hard one, that one, to score.
Yeah, I thought Judson maybe did the best in the first 2 minutes. That was hard. Maybe it was even. I gave it to Judson, but on my scorecard, I think Judson needs to win the last round big to get this, pull this around.
Yes, for me, I think Judson needs to stop it. Some good work from Jones. Nice boxing. Again, it depends how the judges score, because the pressure with the legs was from Judson. He was closing the gap all the time, but I was pleased with Jones, his character and his work right there, and the fact that he kept coming back with good combinations.
Whatever happens in this contest, I tell you what, Barry Jones has come of age, really, I think, as a pro fighter tonight. I think his reputation soars whichever way the verdict goes.
Yes, he showed tremendous technique and good boxing ability and good character to keep working.
3-point margin for Jones on Glenn's scorecard. I've got it 2 points now, having given the last round to Judson. If we're right, Jones just needs to stay out of trouble, but we might not be right, because you could certainly argue over the scoring of some of the rounds, particularly the earlier ones. Jones has shown no real signs of his effort drying up, though Judson has stepped it up in the last couple of rounds. He's throwing more leather, got through with a left hook there, but look at the response from the Welshman. He's been a bit of a revelation tonight, hasn't he?
He really has, and he's needed to do that, because I think Judson would just overwhelm him, but he keeps coming back with good shots there. The crowd really appreciated that combination.
No shots from Judson hitting the gloves. He does get through, but once again, the flashy combinations of Barry Jones, who will not be tamed.
The last punch of that combination was a good right hand from Jones.
I can sense that whatever way this goes, you're going to get some fierce arguments from the opposing corner.
Yes, I'm sure you are, but I don't think no argument from the fans, because it really has been a good fight to watch.
Excellent value for money contest, this. It may be one of the junior belts, this IBF Inter-Continental Championship, but it's produced good fight here.
For both these fellas, I think we've got to really give them credit for how hard they've worked to get in condition for this bout.
Tremendous tribute to their conditioning and preparation, both of them. And the crowd beginning to rise to them as the seconds tick down on the top left of your picture there. Half a minute left in this one. And again, 4-5 punch combination from Jones. Judson, who's never taken a backward step all night. sneers and he leers at Jones. This is going to go to the 3 judges, and it'll be fascinating to hear how they've scored it. That was a terrific contest, it really was. Superb. They both lift up their arms aloft in triumph. They both think they've won it. I knew we'd get this. Frank Warren, a man usually with a pretty firm opinion. I wonder what he thinks, but his opinion on this occasion will not matter.
Well, for me, a tough one to score, but I lean towards Jones. The last round was just tremendous to watch. They both worked so hard. It really was very, very good. But I give it an even last round. So for me, Jones is still winning by that 3-point margin. But in a cracking contest, Judson really, as he always does, came forward all the time, throwing lots of punches. And there it is, 3 rounds for me, but the judges are busy working it out for themselves.
I've got it 1 point to Jones in the end, but I think we're going to hear maybe some differing scorecards. It just depends what you're looking for, really, what you're watching, whether you like those flashy combinations, the lighter punching, albeit maybe of Barry Jones, but he put up a terrific effort. There's his dad Dennis wiping him down. He must be very, very proud of his son, and rightly so. Judson just gave his usual solid, gritty, durable performance. No denting him, never hurt from beginning to end. Walk forward pressure. Who has prevailed? We shall soon know. The scorecards being collated. You've been through all of this, Glenn. This is agony, isn't it, if you're a fighter?
Yeah, especially when there's so much on the line for the winner here or the loser. So these are hard moments for any fighter. But in a big fight like this, it's very difficult indeed. You're really worried at this point.
I hear it's close. Let's find out. Let's go up to MC Mike Goodall. I think he's ready for us about now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a split decision. Judge Dave Paris scores it 113-116 in favour of Barry Jones. Judge Julio Bassi scores it 115-113 in favour of Peter Judson.
This one will decide it.
Judge Hilton Whittaker scores it 115-113 in favour of the winner and new
Barry Jones has got it.
Champion, Barry Jones.
Barry Jones on a split decision. The Italian judge went for Judson, but Barry Jones given it by 3 rounds on the scorecard of British Judge Dave Paris, by 2 on the scorecard of the American. The Italian had it 2 rounds to Judson. We thought it was on the closest side, but what a terrific night and performance for Barry Jones, and your heart goes out to Peter Judson, who, having worked so long and hard to win that belt, loses it in the first defence. But what a night for the 22-year-old electrician from Cardiff, Barry Jones.
Well, he worked so hard. He really, really deserved that. Tremendous character that he showed to keep it going under so much pressure, to keep his boxing ability going against such a tough and strong man. It was a really tremendous fight.
Big triumph too for Ronnie Rush there from Trinidad, the 62-year-old. He was with Steve Robinson. It's ended in a pretty acrimonious split recently. Now he has another champion, so there's a payoff for him there as well. But you have to say, most people doubted whether Barry Jones, moving up, could cope with this tough and resilient Peter Judson. But really, he worked the strategy brilliantly on the night.
Yes, and I think he'll come on so much from doing that, from showing how much strength he had and moving up in weight. I mean, that was a big move going up into a title fight like this, but to do it against such a tough and strong guy as Peter Judson is quite incredible. But he kept his boxing going so well.
Payoff night. He was a Welsh ABA champion at 17, and he was a silver medal in the European Juniors as an amateur. Now he wins his first pro title And well done to Barry Jones, and hard luck on Peter Judson. Terrific fight.
Thanks to Glenn and to Ian. Ryan Rhodes to follow into the ring shortly. Just some reactions from Steve Foster, who's joining.